In this video, I will show you how to play against the Grünfeld defense. I will show you the system which I played for many years against Grünfeld defense. Okay, d4, knight f6, c4, g6. So, and in this position, my recommendation is to play g3. This is a universal weapon against Grünfeld defense, against King's Indian defense. I think it works very well. So, in the previous video, I covered King's Indian. Yeah? So, King's Indian usually rises if black prefers d6 move instead of d5, and d5 is Grünfeld defense. Okay, Grünfeld defense, same thing. White plays short castle. So there is no difference in white's play. So white's play the same system, the same plan how to deal with. So against Grünfeld and against King's Indian. So it's very easy to remember from my point of view. Okay, and very important moment here, d5, and here white black has two main options, two main plans. The first plan is in the Grünfeld style, just to take on c4. And the second plan is c6. This is a more solid way to play. Many players prefer this because nowadays this is a very popular position, and this is a recommendation, main recommendation how to do with Grünfeld. But from my point of view, if you're a Grünfeld player, it's a recommendation for black side. It is better not to play this because this is this type of positions is very boring, and white has a small plus and no risk to lose the game. And there is no good counterplay for black here to get an initiative to play for a win. So okay, if you play c6, it means that you want to play for a draw and so on. Okay, but of course c6 we discuss in the we discuss later. But here I want to show you typical move for Grünfeld players is d takes c4. Now very important is to remember knight e3, so not queen e4 like it was played in Catalan defense in similar positions. Yeah, but queen knight to a3, very important move. So now the main option for black is c3 move. Strange move because black sacrifice pawn, but black sacrifice pawn, and also black strengthen the white's strengthen d4 square. So white, so black helps white to improve the position in the center, but it's not so simple, and it's not so, the position quite complicated. Also, there is c5, very logical, typical break for Grünfeld, yeah, for Grünfeld defense. Also, there is knight to c6. A little bit strange move, but interesting. Strange because usually knight on c6 and with this pawn on c7, not good setup for black. But it's playable. It's not so easy, and we have to know what to do. Okay, I have a few words about c5 move. Not so not dangerous for black, but for white, but very important to remember that d takes c5. And here, for example, in case of knight to a6, we can just play knight to c4. Here, bishop to e3. Then, for example, this move, and this is a clear advantage for white because this bishop g2 is very strong. Bishop g2 uh, attack b7 square, and it's not this endgame is not easy. It's not easy even for grandmasters. Um, so tricky move is c3, and now I think b takes c3 is possible, but here very important to remember knight to b5. Knight to b5, take, and this is very important. And white is better. White is better. Now I think knight to e5. This is a very comfortable advantage for white. So c5 is not a problem for white here. Also, there is move knight to a6 here. Rare move, very rare move. There is nothing wrong with this move. And now we can find some moves of. There is a move of Radoslav Wojtaszek. So in the description of below of in the description below this video you can find this game. I send you the notation of this game, but my recommendation was the move knight to e5, a little bit tricky move. It was played by Predrag Nikolic, and Predrag Nikolic is a big expert in this system for white. I study his games a lot when I study this system for white. Knight to e5, very. And the idea that after this, take. And I think here even bishop to e3, yeah, bishop to e3, then take with this knight, and then it's quite unpleasant position for black because knight b5, some moment, it's not easy, despite the fact that it's very symmetrical position, but white's pieces are much more active, so it's not easy to play this position with black. So very important, knight to e6, knight to e5 to remember. I like this move. I played this with big success. So what else? What else? I think. And now okay, a few words about this. Take bishop to e6, b3, a5. This is a black's idea. Blacks want to play a4 to attack the position of the queen side. But now bishop to b4, bishop to b2, sorry, and there is no problem with a4 move because now we have very strong knight to g5 idea. Okay, in case of this, I think we can just take simple. But bishop d5, e4, take, and now h6, knight to h3, and now we have very strong center. This is a very good position for white. White has a bishop pair and very strong center. For this reason, bishop d5 first. Now there is no knight g5 move because but now very good move is knight to e3 to attack this knight, to attack this bishop. This is, of course, black has to avoid this. Black has to avoid this exchange. And now a3. Now a3. And queen c8, then with the idea to play rook d8. And now I play knight to c4. Now, in case of this, I play just rook c1. And now I play the before. That's why it was played a3 after knight to 3. And what is the plan now for white? Very typical for this position is queen to e2, rook to d1. Then very important to play in some moment bishop to f1, knight to e1. This is a clear plan in the middle game. I won very good game against Polish, I think, international master, very strong many years ago. I recommend you to play this position. It's very good for white. So what else? What else? a4. a4. Now g5. Okay, now of course, very important to discuss c3 move. This is the most popular, the strongest continuation for black. It was played by Garry Kasparov. Uh, so we have to know. Now, of course, c5. Now, of course, and now nowadays it is quite popular option is rook to e1, bishop e2. But my recommendation is the old move e3. Again, the idea is queen to e2. Then we many times you see this plan in this type of positions when the bishop g2 is when the bishop is on g2. Yeah, you have to know this plan is queen e2. So in Catalan, in many openings, you see this plan is queen to e2. So now black has two ideas. What's the idea? The most logical, bishop to e5. Yeah, I want to take under. Yeah, the idea and uh, the middle game here is so the plan in the middle game is for white is to play e4 in some moment, then d5, and to build strong center. So if white if white, for example, okay, I'm going to show you. What if I play something like, for example, something like this, yeah, to build this center, it's fantastic position, and white strategically, so strategic battle was one okay, is winning. Yeah, it's so white win the strategic battle in this case. If black avoid this, black is okay, and this is a main plan. This is a main uh, ideas in this position. Okay, bishop to e5. What to do? What to do? Um, for it was rook to d1. Also e5 break is unpleasant here because if we play bishop b2 like it was in the game of Karpov Kasparov, it was played e5, and then if in case of d takes e5, bishop d3 is very unpleasant. For this reason, rook to d1, queen to a5, for example, it was played many times. And now bishop b2, and now you have to remember knight to d2, this plan, and knight to b3, very unpleasant for black. For this reason, um, queen to b6 was played by Garry Kasparov. This is a strong move. Yeah, the idea that after this rook to d8 there is no knight to d2 because the bishop is hanging, and for this reason it was played not so easy. Yeah, okay, it's okay. It's normal position playable. For example, knight to c4, you know, to d8. I don't know. Yeah, to c4, something like this. Yes, then bishop f1 is then a4. Good position, playable, no problem. But okay, black is fine here too. Yeah, but more tricky move was knight to d2, which was played by Anatoly Karpov, and also interesting move bishop d2 here, with the idea is to play bishop e1 and then knight to d2 and then knight b3 again. So, but let me show you the game of Anatoly Karpov. He played knight to d2. So, rook c8, for example, h3, rook d8, C takes d5, C takes d5, knight to d5. Ah, no. Yeah, knight to d5 here, for example. Bishop d2, and black is better. Sorry, white is better here, yeah. Then bishop e1, knight c4, e4 in some moment. Okay, it's okay. Maybe, I'm not sure, maybe here there is bishop d5, but okay, but in general, it's okay for, yeah, knight e5 is stronger. Here, knight to c5, e5, and now g4. Yeah, I'm not sure about this line. It's not important. You don't remember this. You first of all you have to remember these ideas. Yeah, e3 queen e2, then knight d2, knight b3. This is very typical ideas for this setup. So for you it will be enough for the first time. Then you can analyze this position more deeply. But for most of the players with, I don't know, with 2000, less than 2000, 2100, it's okay to remember this. So once again, e3, queen e2, rook d1, just to avoid e5, yeah. Yeah, rook d1 just to avoid e5, e3, queen e2, and then this plan with knight d2, yeah, knight d2, knight b3. In case of queen e5 or bishop b2, then knight d2, knight b3. In case of queen b6, knight d2 immediately. So something like this. Also, there is knight d5 option. Okay. Uh, the idea is after bishop b2, knight to b6. So difficult to understand, but I think the idea is knight e4 to attack this knight. What else? Okay, again, just to stop e4, not so easy because bishop g4 to attack. Now my recommendation is rook to b1. No, yeah, the idea is like this. And the line is like this. Bishop e5, this, bishop rook d1, knight to e4, bishop a1, queen to a5, knight to c4, queen a6, and bishop to e1. White has an advantage because white controls the center, but the position is complicated because sometimes the bishop on a1 is problematic piece, and black's pieces are very active, so it's not easy. But I think that it's okay for white. You have to do this. uh, I think it's this line is much better than some other stuff against Grünfeld defense. Grünfeld is a problematic opening for white side. It's one of the best openings. The only problem of this opening is that black has to know a lot. Black has to remember a lot. This is a problem. But for white, this is also very problematic because in many lines it's very difficult to cause any problems for black. Black has to remember, and it's enough. Black has to remember. Black, if in case of black has a fantastic memory, it's a very good opening for black players. So, okay, the conclusion with this, my recommendation is to ignore no matter what opening what opening your opponent play. It's King's Indian, it's or it's Grünfeld defense. The same thing, the same setup with white. You don't afraid of d takes c4 because of knight to e3. Yeah, important moment that in case of this d takes c5 c3 knight to b5, important moment to remember. Uh, what else? In case of knight to a6, also very important moment not to take on c4, but to start with knight to e5. Yeah, and in case of okay, knight to 6, knight to e5. Yeah, and here, first of all, E3 Queen to E2, then the plan knight D2, knight B3 is open. Also, you have to play rook D1, especially if black wants to play 5. Yeah, very important. Rook D1, and then knight D2, knight B3. In case of Queen E5, first bishop B2, knight D2, then knight D2, knight B3. Of course, you have to fight for this for square in this line, like this. Okay, that's all. That's all for Grünfeld defense. I think this video will help you to win a lot of games. And also, if you want to motivate me to uh, to create more videos, you can donate on PayPal account to my PayPal account. I leave my address, or okay. I will be so it will be very good for me. So please donate me. If you want to get any lessons, also send me mail. Uh, I will be very happy to help you.